So I'm on my deck right now and it's pouring rain outside and it's beautiful. And I'd like to welcome you back. And if you're new here, my name is Chevy. And on this channel, we explore healing reflections and just a simpler, more grounded way to live.
This week on my nature walks, I noticed something that stopped me in my tracks. A tree, rooted not in rich soil, but in the middle of a large rock. Still it grew, and still it reached toward the light. And it got me thinking about my own roots. I'm biracial, Irish and Italian on one side, Jamaican on the other. And for much of my life, I felt like I was floating somewhere in between cultures, not fully claimed by either. Not quite black enough, not quite white enough, just somewhere in the middle. Years ago, a friend of mine, a counselor, asked me to draw a tree. So I did. I didn't think much of it at the time, but when she looked at it, she gently pointed out, "You didn't draw any roots." And that moment stayed with me. I began to wonder, why didn't I see myself as rooted? What was I unconsciously believing about my place in the world? Since then, I've been slowly reclaiming that sense of belonging, not by trying to fit neatly into someone else's mold, but by embracing all of who I am. This week I also passed by a tree that had snapped during the ice storm we had back in March. It didn't fall completely, it bent. And now it bows toward the earth in full bloom, more graceful than ever. There was also a small tree tucked under our propane tank. Somehow it found a way to grow anyway, bending and adjusting, even softening the tank's hard metal with its presence. These trees remind me of my own journey toward freedom. Like when I was younger, I used to straighten my curls every day. I didn't like them. I avoided pools, I skipped beach days, and dreaded the rain. All because I didn't want to ruin my straight hairstyle. But now I wear my natural curls proudly. I stand in the rain, letting it soak me with relief, and it feels like home. That journey toward embracing my natural self, toward reclaiming what had always been mine, also deepened when I began connecting more intentionally with others whose identities didn't quite fit neatly into one world or another.
So in my 20s, I began working with the Métis Nation. And for those of you who don't know, the Métis are a distinct Indigenous group in Canada, born of First Nations women and European fur traders. They created their own vibrant culture, their traditions, their language, their sense of nationhood. But they did struggle with acceptance and were often called Canada's forgotten people, not being fully embraced by either side of their heritage. That complexity struck a deep chord with me. I recognized in them a story I knew all too intimately, of not fitting into a single box, but still wanting to belong deeply. Working with the Métis opened something in me. It helped me to understand that being in between doesn't mean you're lost. Sometimes it means that we carry both stories in our bones. And like those trees, sometimes we grow not where we're expected to, but where we're called to.
And sometimes you grow, even when life throws you a curveball. Like this week, our well pump gave out, leaving us without water for a few days, and we had to ration what we had left. Every drop mattered. And still, I walked out to check on my little planters, where I just planted basil and rosemary. And somehow the basil was thriving, vibrant and green, even without much water. Just brushing my hand across the leaves and breathing in that rich, calming scent. It soothed something in me. That simple act reminded me that resilience doesn't always have to roar. Sometimes it just smells like fresh basil on your fingertips. I even used some of it to make a homemade spaghetti sauce the other day. Nothing fancy, just a comforting meal that tasted like care. A small ritual of nourishment, and a reminder that even in weeks that feel uncertain, we can still create something meaningful, rooted in presence. Simple living to me is not about perfection or getting rid of everything. It's about slowing down enough to really see who we are, to witness the quiet resilience in the trees, in our histories, and in ourselves. It's about reclaiming space and time to remember who we are. Even if we grow from the cracks, we're still rooted. And that, I've learned, is more than enough. If this video resonated with you, then I'd love it if you gave it a like. It helps others find these gentle reflections too. And I'd truly love to hear from you in the comments. What's one way you've learned to stay rooted in who you are, even when the world around you didn't quite understand you? Let's keep this conversation going. And until next time, friends, may you walk gently, grow bravely, and always, always find your way back to yourself.